Any restaurant you visit is going to have a theme and a set of procedures that define that restaurant's specific concept. We're all familiar with fast food restaurants and what that concept is and what those procedures are for ordering, paying, and then eating our food. We know that we're not going to receive full service from any sort of wait staff after we get our food. There are buffet restaurants, there are build your own restaurants like Subway or Mod Pizza, and then there are full service restaurants like your chain restaurants, Olive Garden, Applebee's, Fridays. There are lots of really nice locally owned full service restaurants as well that span all different types of cuisine and varying levels of um, formality. But in general, for full service restaurants, all function very similarly in that typically you will walk in as a customer, be greeted by a host or a hostess at the door, and then be placed on a wait. Those waits are established to throttle the influx of new customers and new tables so that once a table is seated, those people will receive their food and drinks in about the same amount of time they would ever receive their food and drinks at that restaurant, right? So they throttle the influx of new customers so that they can establish a really consistent service time. Um, Truman's is a bit more casual than that, and it's really important that if you're going to work here, you understand our concept and you can explain it to our customers. Um, if you don't set your customers' expectations at the beginning of their dine-in experience, they are going to develop their own expectations, and they may or may not be correct. And because of the nature of the sheer number of things that we offer, um, and all of the different things that are going on, right? We've got people that might be eating, a meal with a large family group, and it's a fairly, formal visit, and you might have someone on the other side of the restaurant playing pool and taking shots with a group of friends, and so there are all different things going on at Truman's at any given time. Um, those people that are coming in for that full service dining experience, I would say make up the majority of people, but you need to be able to communicate our format to them so that they know what to expect. If they don't know what to expect, you're going to run up against them feeling disappointed or like their experience is lacking. So, one of the biggest differences between Truman's and another typical full service restaurant is the way our seating works. Customers are allowed to walk in and seat themselves anywhere they can find an open seat. What this does is it eliminates the wait time entirely, which you would think would be pleasant. I think all of us should be aware by now, or maybe have experienced at some point, and maybe you're not aware, but restaurants that establish wait lists don't always have completely full seating. Sometimes they have a wait list and they're throttling customers because they don't have enough staff to take care of everyone. Or sometimes it's because the kitchen is extremely busy with a couple of really large or complicated orders. And sometimes it's because all of the tables are full. But full tables can mean different things at different times, right? We can have completely full tables during a Mizzou game and not actually be that busy in the kitchen. Um, Likewise, we can be half full and be extremely busy in the kitchen because all of those tables ordered around the same time, and we have a large influx of to go or delivery orders as well, right? So our capacity out front in our dining room is 200. So if the restaurant is full, you can just accept or remind yourself that there are about 200 people in here approximately. If even half of those people ordered within the same 30-minute window, our kitchen is extremely busy. Cooking for 100 people is quite the feat, and it takes a little bit of time. Compound that with the challenges of making delivery and to go orders that are called in or placed online, and our kitchen is really putting out a lot of product in a very short amount of time. But the customers can't see all of that. And so it's your job to be able to explain it to them correctly and establish their expectations. What this means is that anytime you're waiting tables, you need to have a third eye on the kitchen and what the wait time is like at all times. So, one really good practice or habit that you can establish as a server is just to peek into the kitchen every little bit and see how many tickets are hanging over the line. A good rule of thumb is that if there are six or more tickets hanging in front of the grill, that we might be getting a little bit busy, or the cook might, tell you that the wait would probably be about 30 minutes. Now, this isn't always going to be true, but it's a pretty good estimate and a pretty good jumping off point. So If you're working an incredibly high volume shift, let's say a Friday evening when we have live music, or a Saturday game day, or a Sunday, um, you're going to want to keep a close eye on how busy the kitchen is getting. If you're working one of our breakfast buffets, you should already be aware that it is your job to communicate to every customer that walks in that getting the buffet is going to be incredibly faster than ordering off the menu. And on Sundays during our buffet, it is not uncommon for the wait times on kitchen tickets to approach 1 hour or even go a little bit past that. That is why we started doing a breakfast buffet all these years ago, was to keep up with the influx of new customers and offer people the ability to get quicker service in a manner that was convenient. So as you're keeping an eye on the kitchen and your tables walk in and they're seating themselves and they have a seat, if you know, or if you even have an inkling that it's getting pretty busy and that there might be an extended wait on the food, you need to tell your customers that immediately. So the best thing to do is when tables sit down and you're giving them menus and greeting them and say, "Hey guys, my name's Candy. I'm going to take care of you tonight. I've got some menus here for you and I'll grab a drink order from you. Just so you know, we're a little bit busy right now. There's no wait to sit down. We don't have a host station, so we don't make you wait. But there probably is going to be a little bit of a wait on food because the kitchen is pretty busy right now. They are going to ask you, what's that going to be? It pretty much without failure. The customer's going to want to know exactly how long is that wait going to be. You're going to say, well, I know it's longer than 30 minutes, but let me take a look and I can come back to you with a more accurate time if you're in a hurry. At that point, the customer's going to tell you, well, it doesn't matter, or we're going to leave. They're going to be cranky or they're going to be amenable to whatever that wait time might be. At that point, based on what their response is, run back to the kitchen and ask what the wait is on food and tell them right away, or go ahead and get their drink order. And then, as you're back there making their sodas and their waters, find out about how long that wait is going to be and then communicate it to them. If we're extremely busy and you've already got tables that are waiting a long time for food tickets that you've already rang in, you need to tell your tables, hey, um, drinks are coming out pretty quickly, but there's going to be about a 45-minute wait for your food, give or take. Is that going to be okay with you guys? Occasionally, you are going to have customers that are going to be enraged about that right away. That's okay. Better they be enraged at the beginning and get up and leave because they think that's, untenable, than have them sit for 30 minutes and then become enraged after the cooks are already preparing their order, the bartenders already paid their drinks, we've already given them, anywhere from $30 to $100 in free product, and then they get up and walk out because they're not going to stand for this or they're not going to wait any longer. So we should never try to lie or deceive the customers in regards to how long their food is going to take. What you want to do is be honest and transparent with them, establish realistic expectations, but do it in a way that's not cynical and not negative. Um, so if someone gives you a little bit of flack about the food wait time, say, well, yeah, it is going to be about 40 minutes, but we have a lot of seating in here so that you don't have to stand at the door. You can sit down at a table, have a couple of drinks, and relax while you wait for your food. A lot of times when you will go ahead and define that for the customer, they will immediately adjust their attitudes or adjust them soon after you walk away because the wheels in their head will start turning and they'll think to themselves, you're right. I didn't have to stand outside for 45 minutes holding a buzzer before I could even sit down. So, if you've never been on our website before, I would encourage you to please go to our website. It's trumansbar.com. And on our website, there is a policies page. The policies page breaks out into different sections that explain our seating, um, our wait times, and a lot of our other general policies and procedures. Part of it is there as kind of a tongue in cheek way of warding off complaints about people who have already been disgruntled or, want to complain about one thing or another. Or, as an answer to a lot of feedback we've received in the past, um, part of it's there as kind of a retort to customers who have maybe gotten a little too rowdy in the past. We are a bar, so we certainly have our share of that. And part of it is there on the off chance that someone who's planning to come in will take a look and read it and say, oh, I understand the format now. I'm okay with that. Um, it's been on our website for several years now, and what we've noticed is that having that up there has cut down significantly on the amount of people that complain about food wait times. But it's not entirely eliminated it because some people are not reading that when they go online, and some people have never been to Truman's before. So it's your job as a server to help set the expectations for the visit. And one way you do that is by clearly communicating with your customers about the food wait time. If you're not doing that, you're going to have problems and you're going to have complaints. So if you have questions about how you should do that, or maybe some sample dialogue on the best way to communicate that, ask the bartender, ask Russ, ask me. Um, but make sure, no matter what you're doing, you are always communicating with your customer about how things are going and how long their order is going to take. It will make you an incredibly better amount of tip money than you were making prior to doing it.